Today's guest is a wildly successful serial entrepreneur who has built 5 multi-million-dollar companies, including one that generated over $4 billion in revenue. He's also the multiple-time New York Times bestselling author of The Answer and Having It All, and he is widely considered one of the leading behavioral and mindset experts in the world. John Assaraf.
뇌 훈련에 대해 많은 영상을 봤는데 이게 과연 나에게 정말로 영향을 주는 건가요? 저도 뭐야 이거 하며 흘린 게 많았지만 확실히 제가 변하는 걸 느끼고 있답니다. 여러 동기부여 영상이 있지만 제대로 된 영상을 보고 빠르게 실천하셔야 합니다. 이번에는 최고의 마인드셋 전문가인 존 아사라프를 소개해 드리려고 하는데 이 영상이 끝나고 나면 목소리도 스윗한 존 아사라프가 당신의 잠재력을 최대한 끌어낼 수 있도록 도움을 주는 멘토가 되어 있을 것입니다. 결론부터 말씀드리면 당신은 가능합니다. 존 아사라프는 뇌훈련을 어떻게 해서 더 많은 돈을 벌 수 있는지, 돈을 더 많이 벌게 해주는 뇌훈련법은 과연 어떻게 하는 것인지 매우 구체적으로 말해주고 있습니다. 이 영상을 보고 나면 당신은 목표 설정에서 끝나는 게 아닌 목표 달성을 할 수 있습니다. 목표를 매우 구체적으로 설정한 다음 매일매일 확언을 하세요. 시간을 정해두고 하셔야 합니다. 이때 눈을 감고 정신적 리허설을 하는데 이 정신적 리허설이 바로 시각화라고 합니다. 불을 꿈꾼다면 구체적인 금액과 함께 그 돈이 들어와 있는 것을 시각화하는 것입니다. 돈으로 어떤 소비를 하는 것까지 시각화해 보세요. 내가 그만큼의 돈을 실제로 보았을 때 어떠한 기분을 느낄지, 그리고 순간 느끼게 될 기분을 최대한 자세히 상상해 보는 겁니다. 나와 내 가족의 삶, 그리고 내 주변의 친한 친구들까지 어디에 어떻게 기부를 하고 봉사를 할지도, 어떤 사람들과 함께 할지도, 어디를 가고 어떠한 음식을 먹을지, 그리고 그 음식들은 어떤 맛이고 어떠한 냄새가 나는지까지 아주 구체적으로 상상해 봅니다. 당신이 적은 확언을 읽고 구체적으로 상상하는 이러한 시각화 과정은 당신의 뇌가 이것들이 진짜라고 생각하도록 만드는 것이랍니다. 이러한 과정은 뇌의 전두엽 부분을 활성화시킵니다. 전두엽은 뇌 중에서도 창의적이고 똑똑하고 중요한 일을 할 수 있게 해주는 부분인데 당신의 설정한 목표와 꿈을 이룰 수 있도록 해줍니다. 이때 가장 효율적인 방법이 바로 비전보드입니다. 비전보드는 당신이 원하는 것들, 갖고 싶은 것들, 살고 싶은 장소 등 이러한 것들을 한눈에 볼 수 있도록 사진으로 하나의 보드에 붙여놓는 겁니다. 컴퓨터로 만들어도 되고 아니면 실제로 보드를 활용해서 만들어도 됩니다. 사진을 몇 장 잘라서 붙이세요. 당신이 목표로 한 월 1,000만 원을 벌었을 때 라이프 스타일이나 아니면 사고 싶은 것들을 표현한 그런 사진들을 비전보드에 붙이는 겁니다. 살고 싶은 아파트가 있나요? 그럼 그 아파트 사진을 인쇄해서 비전보드에 붙이는 겁니다. 사고 싶은 차의 사진을 붙여보고 가고 싶은 여행지, 먹고 싶은 음식의 사진을 붙여보세요. 그리고 매일 스스로에게 질문해봅니다. 내가 세운 이 목표를 이루기 위해 지금 내가 오늘 당장 해야만 하는 것과 할 수 있는 일이 무엇일까? 질문에 답하면서 그것을 바로 행동으로 옮깁니다. 이렇게 하면 제대로 훈련된 뇌의 정신적인 힘과 해야만 하는 일을 당장 행동으로 옮기는 물리적인 힘이 만나서 당신이 세운 목표를 아주 빠르게 현실로 만들어줄 것입니다. 당신도 분명 성공할 수 있습니다. 당신은 우주의 유일한 사람입니다.
When I was a teen, between age of 13 to 17, I got into enormous amount of trouble with the law. I did a lot of unethical things, and I was getting myself into so much trouble. And I had one mentor that my brother introduced me to. His name was Alan Brown. He was a very successful philanthropist, entrepreneur. And he agreed to meet with me for lunch one day. And he asked me, like, why are you doing these things? You seem like a nice young kid. And I said, I don't know. I just want to make some money and I just want to fit in. And he goes, but you seem like you're intelligent. Why don't you just use your brain's natural abilities? I go, well, listen, based on my education and based on what the teachers have told me, I'm not going to do very well in life. And I left high school in grade 11 thinking that I'm not worthy enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough. And this one man in 1 minute, in one meeting, changed my life. Because he asked me, what goals do you have? And he says, no, but what are your bigger goals? And I didn't have any. So he actually sent me home. And he said, fill out these pieces of paper. And on the pieces of paper, it said, like, what age do you want to retire by? Like, I was 19. This was May of 1980. I wasn't even started yet. I said, but just fill out fill out these papers. So I said, I want to retire by the time I'm 45 with $3 million. I want to have a Mercedes. I want to have a house. I want to travel the world. I want to have a great lifestyle. And so I came back on Monday and he looked at it and he asked me one question. And that question transformed my life. And he said, are you interested in achieving these goals or are you committed? And I stopped and I looked at him. He was standing up. I was sitting at my desk there at his office. And I asked him, Mr. Brown, I said, what's the difference? And he said, if you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. You'll come up with stories and excuses and reasons why you can't, and you'll use your education as an excuse. You'll use your story as an excuse. You'll use the fact your father was a cab driver and was a gambler and never had any money. You'll use all of that as your reasons why you can't. He says, but if you're committed, you will do whatever it takes. You'll let go of your stories. You'll let go of your excuses. You'll let go of all the reasons you currently have that are formulating your identity of yourself. And you'll learn how to let that go and become who you are destined to become. But then he also said, I can show you how. If you are committed, I can show you how.
At that point.
When I came back to the office, he had the forms that I'd filled out. He says, great, sit down. So I want you to read every one of them every morning that you come in the office at 7:30, and I want you to run your fingers across them.
Were these the goals or the beliefs?
Those are the goals that I had. So he had me write my vision for health, wealth, relationships, career, business, finances, charity, fun, experiences, everything, every area of my life. He had these documents. He said, I want you to read them every day. I want you to run your fingers across them as you're reading them. And then when you're finished one paragraph, close your eyes, and I want you to feel, what would it be like if that was true? So he got me to see it, to touch it, to close my eyes and visualize it and to feel it. So at the time he didn't understand what he was really doing, but he was causing me to create new neural patterns in my brain that did not exist before. So every single day for a year, I had to do that. And it only took 10 or 15 minutes. He also asked me to write down, what would you have to believe about yourself in order to achieve those goals? I said, well, I'd have to believe I'm smart enough, but I don't. He goes, I don't want to know what you don't. He says, what would you have to believe? Well, I have to believe I'm smart enough. I'd have to believe I'm deserving enough. I'd have to believe I'm worthy enough. I'd have to believe I'm capable of doing this. I'd have to believe these things. I wrote out a bunch of things and he added a few more. He says, great. Now I want you to record those things. And on your way to work, and on your drive to look at real estate homes, you listen to those over and over and over and over and over again until you can recite every single one of them. So he taught me the power of repetition. He taught me the power of looking at stuff, touching stuff, feeling stuff, seeing stuff, hearing stuff, memorizing stuff. And at the time I was 19, I felt this was fucking ludicrous to me, right? This is like, what the hell am I doing here? It was nuts. But that first year at 19, I made like $30,000, which was $5,000 more than my dad made as a cab driver. So I said, something's working. And I just kept doing it. I was too afraid not to. So I kept doing it. In the second year, I made $151,000.
Whoa.
5 times. Now, in the second year, he started upgrading my knowledge and skills more. And so the combination of training my brain at a young age with beliefs that I wanted to have, he taught me the right habits to have, daily rituals, for goal achievement versus goal setting.
That's interesting.
And he made me promise that if I took what he taught me, I'd teach it to others.